And that's my cue to start the show. Welcome to another edition of the Hard Rock Sports Show, live from high atop Hard Rock Sports Studios in the beautiful scenic Monroe, New Jersey. We are your 2-hour weekly get-together. We bring you all the news from around the worlds of hard rock, heavy metal, of course, the wide world of sports. And everybody, welcome to Thursday night, March the 26th in the year of our good Lord, 2026. Thanks for tuning in. I'm looking forward to the show. We've been a little jagged lately. He's been on, and off. Jeff's been unnaturally sick. As long as I know him, not a guy who takes a lot of time off from work for being sick. But he is back tonight. I see him hanging in there, although he might be frozen. I'm not sure. Hasn't moved in a second. We'll get the stuff. I want to wish a couple birthdays. Happy birthday to our good buddy, Paul Gill. I'm not going to give his age out. I'll just say he had a birthday on Monday. Happy birthday today to our good buddy, Will Cloak. Stay safe out there, Will, out there on the seas, keeping our Navy moving. So, Will, thank you very much. We appreciate your service, and we wish you a happy birthday, our friends. Stay safe and enjoy. In the meantime, lots of stuff going on in sports. You got March Madness, some really good games last week. We're closing in on playoff hockey, which is always fantastic. The playoff basketball's around the corner. We just got the baseball season started last night with the Yankees 7-0 win over the San Francisco Giants, and I had a hard time finding that game. I knew it was on Netflix, and I was busy. I had a little I was doing some practice for the Hard Rock Sports Band, and about 9:30, so let me throw the game on, see where they're at. And I turned it on, and they were showing the pregame. And I had to listen to Anthony Rizzo and Barry Bonds and the other two people, and I didn't last. And I said, what time does this game start? Well, it turned out the game started an hour and a half before. I don't know why I was seeing the pregame show. So I didn't get to see any of the Yankee game. I saw the highlights and the lowlights, including Aaron Judge and his 4 strikeouts for the Golden Sombrero. So, we got a lot to talk about this week. We got Camp Scatterboo. We got the Jets. We got Aaron Judge in the WBC. Let's see what else. We got flag football. We got the Dolphins making trades. We got some Kiss news. Trey Lance. Kiss biopic. We got a lot. We got a bunch of stuff to talk about today. So we'll get right into it with Jeff. He's hanging in. I'm going to get him right on. My dad's hanging in. He'll pop up with us for a few minutes. And there's just so much to talk about this week. We'll update you on the Hard Rock Sports Band. No official dates for our show, but we have had 3 practices and moderate success, I would say. We've had different lineups playing and people in and out, and so I think that's been good. And it's forced me to learn 20-something songs. You know, I knew some of them, some I didn't. So it's pretty cool. It's a lot of work, but I'm looking forward to it. In the meantime, we'll do the show. We got the NFL draft coming up at the end of April. Again, we're getting into hockey playoffs. We'll talk about a little bit here and there. We'll talk some basketball. Not too much. We don't really care for basketball. And we'll stay busy as much as we can until football season rolls around. So anyway, let's get the show kicked off. I hope you guys have had a great week. And we'll get back. I see Jeff Cup here again, so he must have signed up. Okay, so let's get Jeff on. Let's get the show kicked off. And the only way to do that is by bringing on my partner in crime, the one and only Jeff Tomwinski. Hey, Hefe.
What's up, man?
Are you on the iPad? Is that
Yeah, I'm on the iPad. The
shot
laptop, I gave it a shot, and it was taking forever. So gotcha. I figured before the season's over, let me just switch it up.
There you go. Well, you look as handsome as ever. So how you feeling? We've been a little sick and not yourself the last few weeks. Are you feeling any better this week?
Yeah. I'm pretty much feels back to normal, but you know, who knows, right? I felt back to normal a couple of weeks ago, and then I got sick again. So who the fuck knows?
You know, the weather's crazy. I mean, you get a couple of days and it's nearly 80. Then all of a sudden it's back down to the 40s. And I go out in the morning, it's 26. I come home, it's 75. So the weather doesn't help. You go out in a jacket, you're too much, you're sweating, then you take the weather's crazy at this point.
Yeah, it is what it is.
All we need is some snow, and that would be the end of it.
Please don't say that.
Let's see. I think the weather. I think it's supposed to be beautiful again tomorrow, and I think the weekend drops. I'm going to take a look at my weather app real fast because I'm curious myself. I have a minute to look at it. Tomorrow is high of 62, very early, middle 50s after that. Saturday's in the 30s. Sunday gets nicer again. Next week is nice. So looks like a little cold weather. We got 76, 77 next Wednesday. Anyway, we got a lot to talk about, Hefe. We missed last week. You missed the week before, I believe.
I missed a whole bunch of weeks, like 4 weeks in a row.
I think so. So we got a lot to get to, a lot to talk about. But Jeff, let's start the way we always start for the past close to what are we on now? 11, 12 years. Jeff, how was your week?
Well, I was at work, so that made it bad right off the bat.
Okay. Do we have a countdown clock yet? Do we have the countdown clock yet?
About 17 months.
That's it. So do the people you work with know that you're got a countdown clock in your head?
The people I work with are afraid to come near me at this point in time. I tell them that it's only going to get worse too. I'm like, please don't think that this is going to get any better. I says, this is probably as good as it's going to get.
Yeah, as you get closer, you'll be more of F you, I don't care.
Oh, you have no idea.
Yeah, I think I do. No one knew as well as I do.
I had somebody, a truck of theirs broke down. So they call up. They say, long story short, they sent an email the other day, and then they're calling up and they're asking about the status of their truck. But our tow truck is broke, so there's nothing I can do.
Right.
And well, I'm not a big fan of this woman. Matter of fact, I kind of hate her. And she calls me and she was like, "Oh, I thought that this truck was getting towed." And I was like, "Yeah, mine broke." And that's all I said. And she was like, "Well, is it going to get towed?" Jay, gonna go call J&J. What can I tell you? No.
Well, listen. Enjoy it while it lasts, Jeff. Enjoy it while it lasts because it doesn't last forever. So,
wait, what am I supposed to be enjoying?
Your work, the people, the
fuck out of here. These fucking jerk offs. What are you fucking kidding me?
I know. Listen, it's not easy. You get to this point, and I have to tell you, like every day's a struggle sometimes for me. I wake up and I go, it's not even the job. My dad would say it for years. It's not the job. He's done the job. You get in, you do your job. The day goes quick for the most part. It's the commute. It's dealing with the people sometimes, but the commute gets me. There's days where I fly in and out, and then there's days where it's like 2.5, 3 hours to get in or get home. Happened to me last week. I drove in, and for whatever reason, it took me close to 3 hours to get in. And, you say you're in a car, and it's like, what's the big deal? Nobody's breaking my chops. I don't have to be anywhere like at a moment. But it's just you're sitting in a car for 3 hours. You're fighting the people, switching lanes, and who's cutting you off and giving you the finger. And it's just like you want to turn around and just go home or just put the foot down on the pedal and drive straight through the mall.
Why did it take you 3 hours? What happened?
I don't know. There was just traffic everywhere. Everywhere you went, there was just more and more traffic. It happens. There's certain days, where it's wide open. And all you need is one idiot on the breakdown or get into an accident, and the next thing you know, it's just you're shut down. It's just ridiculous. Or a lot of times now, especially nowadays, you get on these highways and you got the roving asphalt guys, and they're doing potholes. So they take one lane to do the pothole, but then they take the next lane next to it. So the 3-lane highway goes to one lane and it moves. So they go on one side of the road to the other side of the road to fix the holes, and it just completely screws it up.
Because they can't do that at night,
No, they can't do it at night, and they can't do it like with a pickup truck where you pull up with a couple guys, throw a couple shovels in there, and move. Keep a flagman in the back. No, you got to disrupt everybody. So I get that a lot, especially this time of the year after the snow and the ice and the salt. The roads are bad enough, but. It is what I heard they're going to turn some of these potholes into homeless encampments.
Good.
The mayor's looking for a homeless encampment.
That fucking asshole.
What a moron this guy. Let me tell you something. I don't know. I've never asked anybody because I'm afraid to find out who voted. Like none of my children or kid or friends or family. I've never asked anybody, did you vote for him? Because I don't want to know who voted for him. Because if you voted for him, you really hate yourself and the city. You have to.
Well, I don't know why you would vote for this guy. I really don't know why you would vote for this guy. I just cannot understand why anybody would vote for this guy. Everything that he said and everything that he stands for just makes no fucking sense. And I just don't understand why you would want to fucking vote for this asshole. I really don't. I mean, listen, we used to come on the show and make fun of the other mayors.
Yeah.
I mean, God almighty, Bill de Blasio looks like a fucking scholar compared to this guy.
Yeah, that he likes to say that De Blasio is his mentor. Imagine that's your mentor. That's the guy that you look at.
Listen, if that's your mentor, then where did it go wrong? Because at least he didn't lose the city. This guy's going to just absolutely destroy it. He's going to destroy it.
De Blasio should have just did exactly what Bloomberg did: was leave everything alone, just let it run normal, and don't try to bring in his communist ways. And he did it to a certain extent. He didn't really, he was teetering. I don't want you to know I'm a communist. I'll do it. I'll let my wife rob $1 billion, but I won't. This guy just throws a grenade in the room and says, "That's it. I'm wrecking the whole place." He don't give a shit. No. So, but I think, and not to talk too much politics, but I think this is more on the Republican Party, that they could not muster up anybody better than Curtis Sliwa. Because had they had anybody with a half a brain, people, even Democrats, moderate Democrats, would have voted for anybody else beside Andrew Cuomo and Curtis Sliwa. Anybody. Just a brain and a heartbeat would have got a vote. And they couldn't even muster that against this moron. And that's why he got in. It was a low vote total. And everybody voted for him was, I need free stuff. You're not going to raise my property taxes, are you? No, of course not.
Well, listen, other than that, okay, we have a couple friends that were very tight about this and voted for Sliwa because they are Republicans and that's their right.
Sure.
But when I asked them, I says, "But why?" I says, "He's going to lose." Yeah. And their response was, "Well, because Cuomo, his own party didn't want him and threw him out as being governor. Now they want us to vote for him so that he'll win this, that, and the other thing." Yeah, but you also, by not voting for him, you're contributing to the fucking madness which we have now.
Correct.
And don't bitch, moan, and complain when you're dealing with the madness, because maybe if you had just voted with your head instead of your heart, things would have been a little bit different. Yeah, I'm not saying that Cuomo would have been the ultimate mayor. We know he wouldn't have been.
No, listen, he's the congestion guy. He came up with congestion pricing, cashless bails. A lot of this terrible stuff started with him. So no picnic, but he would have been better than what we got now.
Shit, yeah.
Yeah. So, I understood the theory of not wanting to vote for Cuomo. And I know who the people you're talking about, and I get it. I would have swallowed hard and voted for Cuomo because I knew Curtis Sliwa had no chance to win. Cuomo had no chance. He had less, but Sliwa had zero chance, and it showed. He got 4 or 5% of the vote, and it's he's just an odd guy.
It's what do you? How about this? You're talking about a Democratic city and a Republican candidate. It just was not going to work. No matter what you think, he just stood no chance from the start.
Well, a Republican win. A Republican can win. That's not. You got to put a strong candidate. I mean, Giuliani won after Dinkins because Dinkins was a horror show. It was a perfect opportunity to run a strong Republican candidate. The problem is they didn't run one. The only guy who wanted to run was Curtis. And while he's got good policies and stuff, he's a bit wacky, and he wasn't going to win.
A bit.
Yeah. So that's the problem. So I think at this point in time, anybody can win at anything. Now, again, if 4 years from now or 3 years from now, the Republicans run, Curtis Sliwa again against Mamdani, no matter how bad he is, Mamdani's going to win. So if the Republicans have any chance, you got to find somebody, who's a little stronger or a little better candidate. And then I think you got a chance to win. Nobody wants this guy in there. Nobody.
I don't think he's going to win again, Tom. I don't see it. I really don't, because I figured that he would have taken some time.
Oof, no.
He hit the ground running, man. Oof. And hasn't stopped yet.
No, he's pissed off the Catholics, the Jews. He's gone for everybody at this point. So
Yeah.
but
He's
yep.
fuck him. What
Yeah,
can I
no,
tell you?
I'm with you. I'm with you. But that if there's a guy who's going to chase me out of this city, sooner than later, it's this guy. It's going to get worse. The only thing he's holding off for right now to even be even worse is he's got to let Hochul get elected. He needs Hochul to win to be able to get some of his stuff done. So he's not pushing her the way he wants to. But if she gets the votes and she wins governor again, all bets are off the next 3 years. He'll get whatever he wants. And it'll be off and running. That'll be the deal. So let's hope.
My
Bruce
God,
let's hope
that fucking retard too.
Yeah,
I hate the way she talks. Like she looks like she had a stroke.
Yes, she's a complete moron. Somebody should shave her teeth down a little bit for her. What a moron she is. She's a bigger moron than he is because he was raised as a moron. This one I think just grew into being a moron. So. Anyway,
well, whatever the case is, it ain't good.
Speaking of morons, I do want to get to Cam Scatterboo and his kind of crazy comments. I want to get to a lot of Jet stuff. I want to get to Aaron Judge. I want to get to some Kiss. We got a bunch. I want to get to. After our last conversation we had, we were talking. We ended the show with Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, right?
Okay, yeah.
So what I did was we went back and forth on who we think should get in. So I had AI take the list of candidates and generate what they think is the list based on a criteria I set. So I'm going to give you that after we speak to my dad and get him on. And I'll show you who AI picked for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And you see if it makes any sense to you.
Okay.
All right. Let's get my pops on. See what he's got to say. What's up, Dad?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
How you doing, Mr. Foyo? How are you?
I'm very good, thank you.
What's up, Pops? What's on your mind this week?
Man, not much. I just watched the game today.
Oh, you watching that game?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you got desperate I got. I mean, I wish they would tell you what station you're on.
Well, you know what? You don't buy the paper anymore, so that's the first problem. It's in the paper, obviously. Do you buy the newspaper at all anymore for the week, or not even Sundays?
Not at all.
Oh, okay. So, So now the Yankees are off today, right?
Tomorrow, yeah, they're on.
They're on tomorrow and Saturday. I'll give you the schedule this week, so I'll try to do that.
I know they're on Madison 44.
Yeah, they're on the S Network. So yeah, they're on regular TV. Last night they were on Netflix to open the season, which I was telling Jeff I was telling you before the show that I tried to tune into the game about 9:30, and Netflix had the pregame show on. They were talking, and I was like, "What time does this game start?" It's 9:30 at night. Turned out the game started an hour and a half before that, but for some reason when I tuned it on, they were showing the pregame show. So I didn't see a minute of the game. I caught the highlights. They won 7-0. Fried pitched pretty well. Judge struck out 4 times. That's the highlights.
Jeez.
Yeah, there he is. So, but you watched the Met. What was the final score of the Met game?
11-7.
Oh wow, okay.
It wasn't a pitching, dude.
Yeah, no.
This guy from Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Supposed to be the next coming of Sandy Koufax.
Oh, Paul Skeens is a hell of a pitcher. I heard they took him out after 37 pitches.
Yeah,
boy.
The first inning.
Yeah, I mean, was he in trouble when they took him out, or just got pitch count? I mean, it was 37.
No, he was in trouble.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he kind of sucked.
Yeah, I mean, what's funny is a lot of these guys ramped up early. He was a guy who pitched in the World Baseball Classic, so he should have been a little further on. Now, I again, 37 pitches. You'd expect to at least try to get out of the inning, but I don't get it. These guys are coddled. 37 pitches, and you're in the bullpen already. It's a bad day in the first inning.
He had no control, no nothing.
It's weird. I thought it was 37, Frankie. Somebody said 37 pitches today. How many pitches did Skeens throw? I didn't see the game. I'm just going by what I saw.
37. Wow.
That's what they said. Somebody said there was 30. He threw 7. Oh, if he threw 70, that's okay.
The pitch count was up there.
All right, if he threw 70 pitches, that's fine. Then that's okay.
Yeah, he looked terrible.
Yeah, again, I'm only going by. It was either social media or I heard it on fan or something that they took him out after only 37 pitches. Like 37 pitches. Why would they take him out after 37 pitches? 70 pitches in the first inning is a lot of pitches. Wow.
That's almost the whole game.
Yeah. So.
And he didn't even get out of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
They take him out.
Center fielder misplayed 2 plays. Oh, okay. Listen, again, I get it, but I heard he walked a few batters. So, but did they use the new replay thing during the Met game? Did you see it?
No, I didn't see it. See him use it. It's about the strike zone.
Yeah, the guy taps on his helmet or the pitcher, and they,
2 seconds.
Yeah, well, it's basically the computer comes back and tells you right away there was a pitch last night in the Yankee game. The first one was the 4th inning, and one of the Yankees challenged, and it literally, Jeff, caught the box by and it looked like a 1/4 inch of the ball, caught the play just enough for it to read that it was a strike. So,
wow.
See, Frankie says, "Oh, it was 37." I told you, Frankie. Told you it was 37. I'm not a mountain of misinformation here. This ain't CNN. This ain't The View. We ain't got misinformation. We get it right on this side of the screen, Frankie. What were you watching? Anyway, so but yeah, so they've got it in there now. Jeff, this ABS system, automatic ball strike system, whatever they call it, and basically they can get 2 shots at it. I think if you get it right, you get to keep it, something like that.
Yeah, you do keep it.
Yeah, so I again, I think I have a hard time with it, Jeff. I don't know how you feel, Dad. I don't know how you feel. I'll ask Jeff first. To me, baseball is a pure sport, and I like the players make errors, right? We don't put a robot player out there. The player makes an error. The umpire makes a mistake. It's part of the game. It changes the game. It fixes the game sometimes. But Jeff, do you think that balls and strikes are so bad called nowadays that it's almost you have to clean it up?
I think, Tom, that there's just too much money tied up in it with betting, and that they're worried about the outcomes of some of these games with the possibility of betting in mind. And I think that they want to try to call it as straight as possible, even if they need the help, because there's just too much money on the line. And that's the shame of it, that, if that's the case, that's the shame of it. I agree with you. Just let the game happen as it happens and deal with it. Yeah. So a bad call was made. Sometimes a bad pitch is thrown. Sometimes the guy swings at a bad pitch.
Yeah.
So the umpire had a bad day and he made a mistake.
Yeah.
Just leave it as is and just let the game play.
I
but
agree.
They don't do that.
Yeah, I agree. I like the fact that now I like it on the base paths and all of that. I'm not sure I love it on the pitches or not. I think again, it's part of baseball. Excuse me. People make mistakes. People make errors. I think the umpires do too. But I do think that maybe you would agree with me on this. Since I've been watching baseball in the 70s when they had the balloon umpires and over the years, I think the strike zone has gotten increasingly worse for the home plate umpire, and they don't know why. I mean, I don't know if it's because the pitchers are throwing harder or they're throwing much more breaking stuff. I don't know if they're just not being trained well enough, but it seemed like from the 70s to now, the strike zone has gotten completely washed away.
I be honest with you. I agree with a lot what you both of you are saying, but what you find out is you're talking to the umpires. It was like a lot of things in life. Mm-hmm. Once you get established, you start increasing. You got umpires that said, my strike zone is 2.5 balls off the plate. Mm-hmm. It's either a ball or a strike. There's no, did he catch the ball? Did he do this? Mm-hmm. It's a strike. It's a ball.
Right.
The ball's below the knee. I mean, how many times you watch a game? You could actually put your head between the ball and the strike zone. Mm-hmm. And they don't know how to stop. They keep doing it all the time. They increase it. There's no such thing as your imaginary.
What?
imaginary strike zone.
Yeah, well, that's the problem.
Right.
They each umpires develop their own strike zone, which is wrong. That's just it. That's kind of the problem. Is they've eliminated the knees to the chest strike zone, and umpires have a low strike zone. I never understood. He's got a low strike zone. He's got a high strike zone. No, strike zone is the strike zone. It might vary depending on the height of the player and how he stands, but the strike zone. Ricky Henderson, and Frank Howard did not have the same strike zones.
No.
It was in the same area, but Ricky's was shorter than Frank Howard's. But now, one umpire doesn't call anything below the waist, the other guy doesn't call anything above the waist. I think that's the problem.
You watch Judge. This poor guy, they're on his knees and they call it a strike. Come on. I understand, you look at a pitch, you look at a throws to the plate. It could be, you could have went either way with it and you really couldn't fuss. They don't do that today.
Yeah, no, I got you. I don't know. I think replay, if things are available there, you kind of want to use it. And I like they're not doing it all the time. They're not letting the robo umpires call them. They give you the ability to challenge. So I'm okay with it. I don't want the game sanitized. I don't want, I think you have to be strategic about it. But I don't like it to be sanitized. So let's hope they leave it as it is. You get a couple chances a game, and you use them wisely, and you got it there when you need it. Like, to me, with 2 outs in the first inning, I'm not challenging a call. I want to save that thing for the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning, or in a big spot in the game. 3rd, 4th inning, bases loaded, nobody's out. They call you out on a called 3rd strike. Okay, you use it there, but I hope managers are smarter and players are smarter with that.
So even to use it in certain situations, like a called 3rd strike, I wouldn't want to use it on that level for something like that. I would want to save it for a much closer call or something. I don't know what the criteria is because I don't follow baseball like you guys do.
Yeah.
But if they're going to allow you 1 or 2 calls a game, I would rather save it for maybe like a close play at the plate or something like that nature.
Well, no, that's replay. Yeah, you also that's separate. This is just balls and strikes. You get 2 balls and strikes, and then you get your replay challenges. So it's 2 different things.
Yeah, see that's too much, man. That's too much.
Yeah. So I
don't like the idea of it.
Yeah. Again, I get if it's not every pitch, if you're not using robo umpires, I'm all for it. I think I think you have to not sanitize the game. So, but it is what it is. First couple of games of the season day, you get to sit home tomorrow night and watch a little Yankee baseball. Hopefully, Judge wakes up and starts hitting.
It's early.
It's early.
It's really early.
Yeah, it's okay. Listen, have fun.
I'll let you guys go.
I'll see you over the weekend.
Night.
You got it.
Enjoy your rest of your night.
You got it, Pops.
You're good, Mr.
Ford. Over the weekend.
You got it, Pop. That's my Pops. He checking in, and we love having him on the show. Love having him around. And my Mets got one today, first one ever. What do you got? Do you got first one ever? What, Frankie? ABS call. Speaking of Judge, Jeff, I want to stick on Judge for a minute before I go to Scatterboo or to Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And guys, we got to be off by 9 or a little early because I want to do I fell in love with these generating the AI clips from the show. I go in, press a button, and it generates clips from the show, different things that you say, I say, we say, and I get to play them out there. That's pretty cool. So, but I got to be, the show's got to be under 2 hours. Hey guys, I agree with a lot of what you guys are saying, but these pitchers today are not like they were here. These guys are throwing 97 wonderful balls. Yeah, Alan, I understand your point, and I said that to my dad. I believe that today's pitchers are throwing so hard and they throw such ungodly breaking stuff that it's tough to call, and I get it. I just think it's almost you're sanitizing the game a little bit. I think maybe you can instead of once per batter, a couple per inning, maybe. I think you need to make it where it's strategic, right, Jeff? It's like replay. You can't have them all the time. You kind of got to get it to where it's a strategic thing, and you have to make a decision to use it or not use it. I think if it's too easy available, then there's no strategy to it.
Well, of course, I hear you, but you got to remember something too. If they allow you to have 3 per game,
Yep.
then it's just a matter of time. Well, it's working out well. We're going to make 5 per game. Well, we're going to do 7 per game. Now it's going to be 1 an inning. It's sooner or later there'll be too many of them.
Yeah.
I feel as though maybe you want to save it for the playoffs and the World Series because you want to have a true champion. But I mean, what about all the other years before this was available, and they just used to play and let humans call the game?
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, I'm okay with that. Like, I think, like I said, players make mistakes. Players make base running errors. They make fielding errors. They swing at bad pitches. They let good pitches go. It's part of the game. So umpires making bad decisions, to me, is part of the game and has to kind of get factored in. But again, if you want to do it, fine. Just don't sanitize the game. Don't take away.
I really firmly believe that there's so much money tied up in the game one way or another between salaries, ticket prices, gambling, and everything else that they're going to try to get as solid as a true answer as possible. I mean, I don't know. It's only speculation. We don't know.
No,
But
I
I
get
mean, what else could it be? Like you want to try to get it as right as possible, but in a way, it takes away. I feel as though it takes away a little bit.
I'm with you. And hey, Gumari Lou, how are you, pal? And Alan, thank you very much. Dad's doing much better. He had a good week with his treatments this week, and we're actually going to go away together in the near future. So all things are going well, and thank you very much, and appreciate. I'll tell Dad you said that. And Gumari Lou, how are you? Yeah, I love the game. I'm a pure when it comes to baseball, it's a pure sport, and I like the game to stay the way it is.
But you know what? It's not a purist sport anymore, Tom.
No, it's
there is
trying
no
not
more
to be.
American League, National League. There's no more things that used to make it pure. Now you're getting outside help for strikes and balls
I gotta
and
be honest with you.
everything
You
else.
want to do something right for baseball, they should go back to the American League, National League, and 1 series a year against the National League. I think that was the biggest mistake that baseball made for me. Forget about replays and ABS and bigger bags and pitch clocks. I think the biggest mistake they made was combining the leagues. It's robbed it's robbed the World Series. It's not as special. You could play the Dodgers 6 games a year and then play them in the World Series. So for me, I think that's the one thing I would go back. I would love to see them go back. They'll never do it. It's too much money.
No.
The Giants playing the Yankees opening the season is huge. Everybody wants the Yankees to come out. Only American League teams want the Dodgers to come into town or go out there. I get that. But for me, I would love to go. It would make the All-Star game mean something again, maybe a little bit, just a little. And I think it would make the World Series just hey, these guys haven't played each other in 20 years. To me, that's what I would love to see again. The ABS, leave it alone. Maybe what Alan said, I'll agree with. Couple challenges per inning, maybe. But I think you just kind of find a way not to sanitize the game. Let the game breathe and let the mistakes happen. Again, everybody makes a mistake, including umpires. And if you're a good team, you try to deal with it, Jeff.
I agree with you, Tom. That is what makes the difference between good teams and bad teams. Good teams overcome certain things.
Yeah.
Me personally, I like the whole idea of just letting the game be called as is.
Yeah,
just let it be played. You know what I mean?
Yep, I get it. So I was going to, before we got some comments, I was going to move on to Aaron Judge. And again, forget about last night, four strikeouts, golden sombrero. I could care less. It's the first game of the season. But, he took a lot of heat, Jeff. I know you don't pay attention to baseball normally. I'm sure you didn't pay attention much to the World Baseball Classic.
No.
And, as much as everybody tried to make it into what the Olympic hockey was, it's not. It's just not the same thing. I don't know why it. I didn't. I'm not a big fan of World Baseball Classic. I watched some of the games and all that, but Aaron Judge took a lot of heat because I think the last 2 games, he was like 1 for 8 with a bunch of strikeouts, including I think 3 strikeouts in the last game, and people all over the guy. Now listen to me, Aaron Judge is slowly becoming the best player I've ever watched. I've been asked, Jeff, who's the best player I've watched? I say Griffey, could be Bonds, could be A-Rod. I've seen some great players, luckily, in my time. But Aaron Judge is slowly becoming that guy. He's got 3 MVPs already. But the perception of Aaron Judge is that he's never had – he never comes up big in a big spot. In that game.
Well, that's not perception, Tom. That seems to be.
Well, he's had some moments. The problem for him is it's kind of the alternate to Jeter. It seems like Jeter every single time came up big. The problem is Jeter came up big a lot. Now Judge had a pretty good divisional round series last year. Didn't play well in the World Series the year before. He's had his moment. He had a big home run last year. He's had some moments. The problem is he's been in so many of them and he hasn't come through that it looks bad. The problem, again, for me, he's slowly become the best player I've ever watched. I mean, he just does everything well. Do you think, and again, you don't watch it all the time, but that's a pretty good example, you, not being a huge baseball fan, for you to have that feeling that he's not a clutch player is pretty accurate in your view.
Well, he's going to be known soon as the best player that never won anything other than MVPs.
Very true.
That's what he's going to be known as. And not for nothing, if you took away the home runs that he hits, is he still, because every year that he's won the MVP, he's been amongst, if not the league leader or league leader in home runs for the season.
He also hits for average. I would tell you he hits over 300 probably every year. So I think last year he was waiting for the Triple Crown last year. So
that's an accomplishment. Better accomplishment is getting to the World Series and winning.
No, I got it. But see, here's the thing. I agree with you 100%. It's kind of the Mattingly thing. It's going to be kind of a couple of things. If he doesn't get to a World Series and win one, at least one, it's going to tarnish it. You still got to separate Aaron Judge, the player, the individual player, from Aaron Judge, the team player. So, baseball, more than anyone, is a team sport. I mean, you got to have great pitching. You got to have great fielding. You got to have great hitters. One guy isn't going to win it all. But, if you're Aaron Judge, yes, you're right. It's tied into your legacy when you don't win it. When you're not bringing home World Series like Gehrig and Ruth and DiMaggio and Mantle and Berra and Jeter and Mariano. So you're right. You will hear great player, but.
Well, but it's the truth.
Yeah, no, I get it. But I think it's a little unfair, but again, it'll hang on his neck. The thing for me is,
what is his postseason stats? Do you know that?
I can look it up for you real fast if you want to see it.
What is his postseason batting average? How many home runs does he have in the postseason? How many games has he played in the postseason? RBIs.
He's played a lot in the postseason. That much. The Yankees pretty much, I think, every year but one.
Very true.
Yep. Hold on. Let me see. Projection, standard batting, value batting. Let's see, Jeff. Let me get this up on the big
that's another problem with baseball. There's too many numbers involved with the game. How about just actual numbers? What is his actual average? And I'm not saying this to you. I'm just saying, like, they'll make up stats in order to make him look and make players look like they're doing something.
Yeah. Well, let me give you his. You want his regular season stats, or you want his?
No, we know his regular season stats are good, but once he gets into playoffs, like, how many games has he played in the playoffs?
Let's see. Regular season.
No, not regular season.
I'm looking at postseason. Okay, so here's the postseason. He's 8 years in the postseason out of 11 in baseball, 17 series. He's played in 65 games.
Okay, how many home runs does he have in the 65 games?
Let's see. Home runs. 17 home runs in 65 games, 41 RBIs, 8 doubles, 58 hits.
Well, they're not terrible. He just hasn't won.
Right. So that's again. It's not that he's now his batting average is a little low. He's only batted .236 in 17 postseason games. That can't be right. 65 postseason games, as compared to his regular batting average. His regular season batting average. What is that? Hold on. Let's see, standard batting. His regular batting average is .293, so he's hitting 60 points less in the playoffs than he does in a regular season. So,
listen, while batting average, some of these guys go into the postseason, they end up hitting 700 because they went on a tear for a few games. Like they'll hit 700 in the World Series, but the regular season they hit barely 100, 180.
Yep.
So you got to see those numbers are one thing, but I mean while his numbers aren't bad, he just needs to put the team on his back once or twice and take them through the playoffs, and then he won't have a problem. He won't be able to say anything.
I agree. I agree with you. That is a big part. Again, Jeter didn't come through every time, but the perception of Jeter is he had some big moments in some big games, and people, for me, it's all I remember of Jeter. To me, he's he's probably the most clutch player I've ever seen because he always seemed to have that big hit in a big spot in a big game. And that'll be his perception for anybody my age, maybe a little younger, going forward when we're bouncing our grandkids off our knees. It's the most clutch play I ever watched was Derek Jeter. Guy got to hit every time or made a big play, whether it was the flip play or going into the stands. Jeter always seemed to make the big play. And that's what Judge needs, a win in the World Series and a couple of those around it, and it'll change the perception.
Well, listen, he's been in the league, you said 11 years. He's gone to the playoffs 8 of those 11 years, and he hasn't won anything. So even if he wins this year, that would mean that he went to the playoffs 9 times in 12 years, and he won 1 World Series. Right. So, he's got to put some numbers together. And even if he does, depending on how many he ends up with in his career, it may be too little too late.
Yeah. No, listen, it is, again, I think at the end, people.
Tom, not for nothing.
Yeah,
he's no Terrell Davis, bro.
That's true.
He's no Terrell Davis.
That's true. And Terrell Davis didn't belong in the Hall of Fame. So
there you go.
Hard Rockets wasn't Chef and
somebody had to take the first shot across the bow.
Right across the bow that went. We got a lot to talk about tonight. We're going to be gearing up in April, talking a lot of football, draft stuff. Does not take away from his grade. No, Frankie, I agree. I say it. People, we talk about this all the time. I have friends and people I talk to at work, and they always ask me, who's the best player you ever saw? And I say, Griffey could be easily A-Rod. Take away the steroids, he's still one of the best players I ever watched. He's a 6'3" guy running around playing shortstop. I've seen some really great players. Those guys, Barry Bonds, before the steroids was an incredible player. But Aaron Judge is creeping into that category. And, if he ever wins a series, but to me, that's not going to change my perception. If he wins another MVP, boy, oh boy, that'd be 4 and maybe 3 years in a row. We'll see. Early in the year, no jinxing. But I'd rather him hit 200 this year and the Yankees win a World Series. That's the way I look at it.
You got every right to want to see that, without a doubt.
Yep. All right, so let's move on from baseball a little bit because we got a lot to get to. We got to end the show by 9:00 so I can get my AI generated clips. Jeff, let's talk a little bit about Cam Scatterbo and his comments. I know you don't normally put up a lot of stuff, especially footballish, especially this time of year. But I did notice in a couple of our chats you mentioned the Scatterbo comments, and you were shaking your head about it. So you want to give your take on?
Listen, here's this kid, first year in the league. He plays hard, and he's fun to watch, without a doubt. But, here's somebody that's plays maybe a little too hard, doesn't play smart enough, does his backflips and everything when he scores a touchdown. And, celebrating is cool, but celebrate within reason this way you don't possibly hurt yourself while celebrating. And his style is a bit risky. And then he goes and he says that he believes CTE and
Asthma.
asthma are fake. What the fuck is wrong with you, man? Like, you're only in the league 1 year. You didn't even play a full season, and you ended up getting hurt. Now, yes, his injury was, could happen to anybody in the league.
Sure.
Anybody
Absolutely.
in the
Yep,
league.
absolutely.
But you don't have to tempt fate by saying some of the things that you do. And I just thought that was definitely stupid on his part to say what you said.
Well, he walked him back, which I have a problem with. I have to tell you, if you're dumb enough, smart enough, whatever it is, vocal enough, whatever you want to call it, to make comments like that, then stand by them. If that's how you feel, right or wrong. I don't agree. I do think what he meant to say a little bit. I think the CTE he was way off. It's kind of been proven. You get repeatedly hit in the head. It's going to freak your brain up. The asthma thing, I think he was more talking about the young kids, and it's so easy to say he's got asthma. Go sit in the corner, Johnny, and play on your handheld device. But if you're going to make those comments, stick with it. Just say, hey, that's how I feel. I don't believe in it. And it's almost like COVID. Millions of people ran around with double masks and 7 shots. And my take was, I don't buy into it. I'm forced into buying into it, but I don't buy into it. And people say, you're out of your mind. There's all sorts of research and people. I said from the beginning, it's the flu. It's a heavy duty flu, maybe, but it's the flu, and we'll get used to it. And sure enough, a couple years later, we don't even talk about it anymore. So I think that's my problem with Scadaboo is, if you said it and it's dumb, just own it. At that, be a man and just own what you said and explain why.
Listen. You can always go back and change your mind and what you
Alan,
said.
You're right. Alan's right for sure. Oh, you can't see the comment, right?
No, I'm going. I gotta go keep looking back.
Alan said, "I love scat, but I have a feeling that's not the only thing." Yeah, I agree
that may
with
be
you.
the comment of the night right there.
I think Scadaboo needs his own translator. I think that's
if you feel as though, first of all, CTE, okay, maybe they don't know that much about CTE. They're still studying it. There seems to be a connection between that and concussions, and a lot of football players having it. A lot of high impact athletes having it by the time they die as they get older. And asthma, I don't know why he would even say anything about asthma. I mean, is there a connection to him and asthma or something? Is it, or he just was stupid enough to say something about asthma?
I think, I don't know. I didn't see the whole interview, but he just said, I don't believe that they exist. And I was like, I don't understand that. Like, asthma is a treatable disease.
Asthma exists, bro. It's been all over the place.
I mean, I don't know if the doctors are making it up, but it's been around for generations. This isn't something that came up recently. So I just say, if you're going to
Cam Scadaboo, to me, is the first person I ever heard questioning the existence of asthma.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard other players and doctors and some people shake their head at the CTE thing, but to me, it was an odd combination of things to say. I don't believe in CTE. I get it. You're a football player. You're a young kid. You don't want to believe in it, but you don't believe in asthma. There's a whole cottage industry based on it. This isn't like COVID that lasted 3 years. Asthma's been around a very long time. So I don't. But I think to Alan's point, I think the kid is just one of those guys who just shoots off the hip. And
you see the new Gronk?
Hey, boy, that's a good comparison. He might be. I think he might be.
I hope not. I really hope not, because Gronk made himself look stupid with the way that he portrayed himself and
character.
Yeah, just like a doof to a lovable doof, and I just hope that this kid doesn't do that. Play football, keep your mouth shut. You've proven that you're playing hard. You've proven that you're a good player.
Yep.
And that there's a spot for you in this league. Although I do feel as though that his spot in this league is going to be short-lived with the way that he plays.
I agree with you. He's going to have a lot of injuries. He's going to be a lot
of. I don't see him as a 10-year veteran.
Yeah. Could you imagine a college dorm party with no. I don't think there's a wall. There wouldn't be a wall left or a bottle of anything empty, full at that point. Yeah, that's the Mensa crowd right there. They're not solving world economics in that crowd.
Yeah, I think Alan's on a roll tonight, man. No, I think even the fucking frats would shut that party down, man.
Yeah, but he's entertaining. He's got a great personality. You want to root for the kid. I agree with you. I hope that somebody gets him and says, "Hey, every once in a while, let them miss
shut the fuck up." How about that?
Just let them miss hitting you. Like step to the side, go around them, slide, extend the career. Because I think there's going to be a lot of those seasons where come week 14, he's in concussion protocol for 4 weeks.
Listen. Here's the thing about the New York Giants. They seem to be on track, and they seem to be. They have a few pieces in place. And what do they got? Right now, they have Scadaboo, who was injured. Okay, I understand that kind of injury could happen, but nonetheless, he got injured. He's a high-risk player. You got Dart that has to learn how to slide and be more careful. He was in the concussion tent way too many times. And then you got Neighbors, who's been injured too many times. So you can have some of the greatest guys in the fucking league right now. And if they're going to miss 3-4 games apiece over the course of the season or parts of games, it's going to hurt your team. And those three people in particular are definitely well on their way to having short careers, man.
Yeah, of the three, I think the one guy who has the ability to avoid that is Dart. He's going to have to learn. There's a time and a place. Yes. Scadaboo, that's the way he plays. Neighbors, you're going to get injured, jumping up and down, turn the way they do, run the way they do. It'll happen. The one guy who has the ability to avoid that is Dart, and he should go talk to Eli Manning and find out how you go 15 or 16 years without missing the game. And you slide. And if you're going to go and put your head down and make a play, make it be something where it's worth it, not, a 3rd and 9 scramble and you're going 7 yards and you're putting your head down for that last yard. Doesn't make any sense to me. So, I agree with you. Those guys have to stay healthy, fill in the blanks, and especially your quarterback. I can't have him head first, in this league of guys who are, 6'1", 6'2", 6'3", 270 pounds who run a 4.5 40. You're just not good. I don't care how big your quarterback is. You ain't winning that battle.
So some of these guys are of scary size, man, and they're getting to be better and better athletes, and you could see by some of their stats what they're running, how much faster they are, how much bigger they are, and well trained they are. There's going to be a lot of people who are going to be in a bad way here and there throughout the season because they didn't watch themselves, or you got to be careful. That's all there is to it. You got to be careful.
100%. Also, Frankie Burb, Jalen Waddle. I want to commend both the Broncos and the Dolphins. I thought that was a great trade for both teams. The Dolphins have quietly attained a bunch of capital. They're right probably behind the Jets and the Raiders for the best draft capital. I think for the Broncos, that's a great move. Waddle's not a problem receiver, not one of those diva guys that I've ever heard. Maybe because he plays behind or next to Tyreek Hill. But I give the Broncos a lot of. That's a good move for them. That's a solid receiver, better than solid. Good job and a great job by Miami. They pulled the ripcord. Jeff got rid of Tua. They've gotten rid of Tyreek Hill. Now, they basically
they seemed. Now, here's my questions about the Dolphins, and I didn't even want to ask the other fella there. Because it's been nice and quiet, and I didn't really want to get too involved with it.
I got you.
Yeah, but what is Miami doing? Are they trying to be competitive? Are they looking to build a team? Yes. They got rid of a lot of pieces and a lot of stuff. So I don't know what is the story with that.
Capital. I think not that they're giving up this season, but they they were in cap hell. So.
Yes, but you also spent $30 million a year on Malik Willis, and the guy's only got a handful of games under his belt.
Listen. I agree with you.
Then you trade away his probably his best receiving option.
to be honest, I'm with you. The only way Malik Willis makes any sense is if you believe he's your quarterback for the next 5 years. If you
Well, they signed him for what, 3 years?
No, I get it, but I'm saying is you invested short because just in case you're wrong. But if you think, okay, I'm going to build this team around him now for the next 5 years until I got to pay him a big lump sum of money, I get it, because what you said was, I don't love anybody in this draft. I'm a salary cap hell, so I'm going to go build a young team. I'll bring in a couple of cheap free agents, and I'll get what people consider the best cheap quarterback out there. And I think they did a good job. Now, is he going to be their long-term answer? I don't believe so. I think he's one of those guys, when he plays a little bit, he's great, but the minute he plays a lot, he's not great. So,
well, you know what? You're about to find out, because they're making a 3-year investment in him.
Yes.
And while I understand what you're saying, for what you're doing with the team and all the draft capital that you got, it's going to suck if you have to turn around and look to draft another quarterback after next year because this guy didn't pan out.
Well, if I was
$30 million a year isn't change.
No, I got it. If I were them, I'm looking to draft. Again, I think you're going to see a lot this season. So if you're the Dolphins, you're not drafting a quarterback in this draft. You got Quinn Ewers on the bench, you got Malik Willis. You stick with that, and you're going to fill the voids around them and build this team for a couple years. And what you're hoping for is that he shows a big promise this year, and that's going to be your guy you're going to ride, and you're not going to draft a quarterback. He's young. I think he's 26, 27 years old.
Yeah, he's not that old.
Yeah. So what you're hoping for is you're going to get the next 5 years out of him, and you'll draft your future quarterback a few years from now. But I understand they had to pull the ripcord on Tua. They could not keep him around. And
no, of course not. That's understandable.
Yeah. So I understand.
Totally understandable. But the whole point of it is that you get probably the best quarterback available in free agency.
Yes.
So you're building a lot there.
Yeah, no, I get it. But he's still, compared to the next group of guys who are getting $35 and $40 million, $25 million, $30 million for the next couple of years. If he's a starter, midway through the season he's riding the pine, and you're bringing in Quinn Ewers, it's a disaster. It really is a disaster. So they're hoping they took a shot at the cheapest, best guy they could get. You could have went out and probably got, maybe Kirk Cousins and dealt with maybe got a year out of him or some other retread. But let's be honest, who else are you going to get? And I'll bring it up for the Jets. I'll give you another one. Everybody's ripping the Jets for bringing Geno back, and it's funny. But let's be honest. If you would have said the Jets bring back so-and-so to play quarterback and you plugged in any name, everybody would have ripped it no matter what they did, because it doesn't matter. There isn't anybody out there you're going to go, oh, they got Carson Wentz. Oh, they traded for Kyler Murray. Oh, they got J.J. McCarthy. Like, there wasn't anybody you were going to say, including Geno, great, I'm so happy they signed him. Correct?
No, but this is how I'm looking at the Geno Smith deal, okay? Yes, we already know going into it, it was a one year, maybe 2-year deal for Geno Smith to be the quarterback there, okay? Second of all, when was the last Jets 6th-round pick that amounted to anything with that team? Okay, so right off the bat, you're getting Geno Smith as your quarterback for a 6th-rounder, plus you got a 7th-rounder back, okay? Yeah. So whoever you picked in the 6th round might not even have made the team as it is, so you got a starting caliber quarterback. Yeah. We all know that he's not the greatest. We all know that he's not the best.
Oh, he was literally the worst quarterback in football last year, statistically speaking.
Well, and this is from a team that had Justin Fields. I think that the Raiders were a bad team. I don't think they had enough pieces to help Geno Smith. Mm-hmm. And listen, it cost Pete Carroll his job. Geno Smith got traded, and we know that the Jets have 3 #1 draft pick, first-round draft picks next year. Yeah. So we got to assume that they have some kind of plan in place. Unfortunately for them, I bet you any amount of money that they're going to go like fucking 7-10 or something, and the 2 teams whose first rounders they have will be 7-10 also. So they'll get like picks
Yeah.
21, 22, and 23 or something stupid like that. I can already see that happening.
Yeah, Alan, I agree with you. I don't think it was the dumbest move in the world. I'm not a big believer in Malik Willis, but I haven't seen enough of him. So you're going to find out this year if he is a
Tom,
better
keep
than
going. I just got to do something real quick.
if he's better than solid, this is a great move for them because they're getting a cheaper quarterback who's still young, and you can fill pieces around him, and you don't have to draft your quarterback right now. You can wait. The problem only becomes if he comes out this year and he can't play. If he turns into a horror show or he's just a mess, that's the only way. But to me, if he goes out there and he keeps them competitive and they win a handful of games, but he shows he can play quarterback, it's a good deal. I think they did a great job. They got plenty of draft capital. They will have rid themselves of the very bad salary cap after this year and next year. And I think they're on their way to fixing the problems. So, no, I agree with you. I think the Malik Willis, again, plug in the names and tell me what name would make anybody thrilled. I mean, who could you have traded for or signed that you would have went, great, can't believe I got him? To think Daniel Jones went out and got another $40 million. I love Daniel Jones. I think he was underrated. I think he got put in bad situations. But Daniel Jones went out and got a $40 million contract. I mean, that's the best of the bunch. I mean, Carson Wentz got a job. Their guy Kyler Murray's out got another job. Tua got another job. So, that's the problem, Alan. There was no one. So to me, getting Malik Willis is a risk, but a small risk in today's market. But I think the upside is huge. If he can actually play, and he's shown some flashes of it, if he can actually play, it's a great move for the Dolphins. They don't need to draft one of these quarterbacks. There isn't one this year who's going to make a difference, and including Mendoza. You can put in the book for me. Fernando Mendoza may turn out to be a long-term quarterback somewhere. It ain't this year. Bad team, and he is. I don't think he's going to make a huge impact this year. And you'll hear the comments that bust. Maybe he's a bust. I don't know. Maybe he wasn't as good. Ty Simpson is my fear for the Jets is that they're going to draft Ty Simpson with the 16th pick. And I like Ty Simpson. If you can get him later in the draft, or if they can trade up with one of their other picks and get a third pick in the first round, Jeff, I would do it. But I would not.
They
just need so much help. I can't see drafting a quarterback this year.
The Jets added a lot to their defense. A lot of people like some of the moves they did on defense.
They did a nice job, yeah.
But they did get a few older players with Demario Davis and Fitzpatrick.
Sure.
So you got a few older players although Fitzpatrick is still 31 or whatever, 30.
Yeah.
I agree with you to an extent, but you want to know something? Some of the receivers that I've seen him connected to, through the draft and at number 16. I don't want to see these receivers come here too. They're 5'11", 190 pounds. It's like, why do you want to get these little guys?
Yeah.
Get a receiver, man. Because everybody keeps saying I guess they forgot that they need a second receiver. We got Garrett Wilson. Nobody's going to double or triple cover him. We'll be fine. We'll be able to slip it past them. And it's not the case. Yeah. Do something and get another fucking receiver.
Well, to me, if I were the Jets at their number 2 pick, I would either be taking the best defensive player. They could take the kid Reese from Ohio State, or I'd be getting the best receiver in the draft. Because I agree with you. I think the Jets' biggest problem on offense is they don't have. I'm starting to believe that Garrett Wilson might not be a number 1 receiver, but if he is, he needs a number 2 guy who's borderline number 1, or is a number 1, and you're playing him as your number 2. That's what Garrett Wilson needs. That's what the Jet offense needs. They got 2 good running backs. They've got I think a couple guys who can play tight end. I like the offensive line's getting better. They got to fix the guard spots, but that offense needs a quarterback who can play and another big receiver. And if they get that's fine. I would be going either a linebacker for the Jets, or I'd be going the big time receiver in that spot. And I think
at number 2 they got to take one of those, either the edge rusher Bailey, I think his name is, right, from Florida, or Reese.
Yeah, I like Alvaro Reese is a monster.
they keep flip-flopping back and forth in the mocks that I'm seeing.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens. We're going to know in about a month.
But at 16, if I were the Jets, if you go linebacker, then you got to go receiver. Take the best receiver available at that point at number 16. I would not trade. Now, if you can give up a couple of your picks and move up in the first round and get Simpson and park him on your bench, all right, I would think about it, like what the Giants did last year with Dart. I don't think it's a dumb idea.
Listen, they're picking first in the second round.
Yep.
Okay, if you think, and we've said this before, if you think that's your guy,
yep, go get him.
Then you have to do what you got to do. Is he a better value in the second round? Some people will feel that way.
Sure.
But if the Jets feel as though that this is a good time to grab this kid,
listen,
and you could still get a receiver at number 33.
Yep, you can. Sure.
Maybe you got to consider that. But is Geno Smith the person that you want training your next quarterback? Mentoring your next quarterback? I know he's not terrible, but is he really a quarterback whisperer?
No,
is that who you want?
I wouldn't want him as my quarterback whisperer, but you got your quarterback whisperer in your offensive coordinator. I think Frank Reich is a great offensive coordinator. The problem I have right now is this Jets team has a problem. If they don't win enough games or they play like they did last year and got embarrassed at the end of the year, this coaching staff won't be back next year. So they kind of have to be competitive this year. The GM has to put out there a good product. He screwed up with the Justin Fields move. Like you can't. Yeah, exactly. Frank Reich is there. That's why I agree with you. I think that's the guy.
But you know what constitutes
makes you believe they're going to take a quarterback.
Constitutes this coaching staff staying? Let's just say that most of the games let's say they're 6-11 at the end of the year. Okay, and they lost 4 of those 11 losses were by less than 10 points. 7 of those, another 3 of the losses were by 10 points or more, 10 to 14 points. They were competitive almost the whole entire season. Yes, their season was over before Thanksgiving, but they weren't getting blown out. They were hanging tough. They were showing that they took the next step. Does that keep Aaron Glenn on?
Yes.
So it's not like he has to win. Because if you're Woody, you got to say, we need a quarterback. I can't have you go out and win 7, 8, 9, 10 games. I can't do it.
I watched every one of the games. I don't watch every minute of every game. I flip back and forth. I track the Jets because we do this. Their last 5 or 6 games were embarrassing. They didn't show up.
There was a lot of games that were embarrassing.
Right. So I'm saying is, if you go out there and the team just looks better, but they're just not there, you're right. We're still missing the quarterback. We need it. A couple of our guys got hurt. We had a couple bad calls. 5-12 should have been 7-10. You go, but the team is getting better. You could see it. They had a better season. They're just not quite there. They're back. But if they go out there and they have the season they had last year, they're all gone.
He's got to go. He's got to go. But the only thing I could say is, with 3 first-round picks, that should be enticing to a higher level coach.
To me, if I'm them, I'm putting a full court press on Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin's taking the year off. He's going to be looking for a job next year. You got all that draft capital. You got some good players, and you got number 1 picks coming, 3 of them next year. I'm running to Mike Tomlin's door and say, how much did the guy across town get? $20 million? I'll give you $25 million for the next 4 years. You fix my team. That's the guy. If you're the Jets, that's the guy. If this falls apart, and I got a feeling it will, not because they won't be bad. I just don't think Aaron Glenn's a good enough coach. If you're the Jets, I'm inviting Tomlin to the games to sit in the owner's booth to watch the games with you, because that's the guy I want. So if you're the Jets and this falls apart, do what the Giants did. Go get yourself an established football coach, a guy who builds culture. I don't think Mike Tomlin is the greatest coach I've ever seen, Jeff. I think you would agree with that. But the guy builds a culture that is solid every year.
Well, you can't deny that. I mean, the guy went how many years in a row? 18, 19 years without a losing season. When was the last time they had a losing season? 2003.
Wow.
You know, you got to take him if you can get him, without a doubt.
Yeah, and Alan, I think Arch. See that the question becomes: is the stink on the Jets so bad that the Mannings don't let him go there? That's the question. I mean, it was for Peyton when Parcells, even when Parcells was there, he basically said, "I'm not coming out. I'm not playing for you." So with the Jets, so
I don't foresee that kid getting there.
again,
I really don't.
you know, he's still got a lot to prove. I like the way he played later in the season. He had a lot of pressure. I watched a lot of his games. I root for Texas a little bit, and of course, I got a rooting interest in him. I'm glad he didn't come out this year. He's not nowhere near ready. He's got to show a lot. There's some guys that'll come out next year that'll be good quarterbacks. I think that's a much better draft. And if he steps up, he'll be the prize. Can he determine where he's going? That's a great question. I don't know how easy that would be. And if I was the Jets and he's on the board, I'm picking him. And if you don't want to play, go play baseball. Can I tell you? You know?
Well, you know what, Tom? These guys, if you're the Jets and you draft Arch Manning, and then he turns around and he tells you, "Guess what, guys? I'm not playing for you. You drafted me. I'll just sit out for the next 2 or 3 years." The Jets don't. Their fan base would fucking destroy the stadium. Their fan base would destroy everything.
I get it, but I think if you're the Jets, who's the coach? If next year, let's say the Jets was shit this year, and they went out and they got Mike Tomlin, they have 3 number 1 picks, and I think anybody would want to come here with that kind of coach. If you're going to go out and get the next, Aaron Glenn or Gase or one of these coaches that you don't know, I'm not sure that anybody would want to come here after that. But if they show a little bit of improvement or they bottom out and they bring in a guy like Tomlin, I think you'll get people who want to play here just to play for that guy. It's still New York, whether it's the Jets, the Giants, whatever. Yeah, again, he's not Peyton. I just don't see him being able to pull that off. Peyton was a star coming out. Eli was a star coming out. They pulled that bullshit. I mean, Eli pulled it, and he told the Chargers, "I ain't going to play for you. I ain't going to play." And he got his wish. I want to be a Giant. They traded him to the Giants, and he had a great career with them and won 2 Super Bowls. I don't think Archer's got that kind of clout. I think Allen's right. But I will say this. If you're Darren Muji, the GM, you got to hit on these pet draft picks. You can't. You already screwed up with the Justin Fields signing. You can't screw up this pick. You can't stretch and reach for something. Take the best player. Like the Giants, Jeff. The Jets. I don't think you could throw a rock, hit a great player, and have a position that guy can play on this team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you took an offensive lineman, you need more. You need guards. They need corner help. You can use a great safety, even though you got Minkah Fitzpatrick. It's still a bit. Demario Davis is 36 years old. You need linebackers.
37. I think he's going to be 38 before the season starts.
Yeah, you need edge rushers. You need a receiver. There's always something to fill on this team. You need a quarterback. So whatever it is that Muji drafts, it better be a solid, absolute second contract guy. That's my opinion.
You hear that?
Okay, so we talked about the Dolphins. Talked about him. What else I got up here? Trey Lance went out to the Chargers on a 1-year deal. I will say my friend Matt is likes to he's the draft guru. Like we argue over things all the time. And one of the biggest arguments we ever had was Trey Lance. And he was so sure, Trey Lance, the guy's a monster. And I said, Matt, go watch the guy's highlight reel. It's all of him playing basically Division III football, running over these smaller defensive players. There's a guy who's a quarterback, and he's not throwing the ball. All he's doing is running, and he's knocking over these smaller defensive players. And sure enough, he gets drafted. He must have got drafted, number 4, Jeff? number 7.
No, I think it was number 3 and number 2. I don't remember, to be honest with you.
He didn't even make the regular season roster for the 49ers. He got cut. The Cowboys grabbed him. That didn't last. I didn't even know where he's been. Now he's with the Chargers. I mean, draft bust galore on that one. So
he was third by the Niners in the 2021 draft.
He didn't even make the season. I think he got cut in training camp.
No, he was on the Niners for 21 and 22.
Was he
Dallas for 23 and 24. Then he's been in the Chargers since 25.
1 year with each team. Okay, so good luck to Trey Lance and the Chargers if that's your backup quarterback. I don't know if you watched it. I happened to tune by. So ESPN has all these crazy things, right? They have all these crazy sports on, especially on Sunday. The other day was ping pong padel ping pong. Padel is a sport that they play. It's kind of like pickleball and racquetball. So it's pickleball or it's like paddleball played with glass walls. So you're throwing it over the net, but you can bounce it off the walls. And I found one there, a ping pong pickleball. So it's guys playing ping pong with glass walls around it. You can bounce it off the walls. If it hits the floor, you can get it before the crazy stuff. I'm flipping, and Fox has flag football, and it's NFL pros on 2 teams versus Team USA, kind of like a round robin. And I was trying to watch Tom Brady's playing, Odell Beckham, Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts. It had to be the most. We had better games. We had better touch games in the street on Ormond Place than what I watched out there. It was boring. I don't know how you get people juiced up for flag football. I just don't. Tom Brady looked great. Tom Brady and Jalen Hurts are on the same team playing at the same time. They're flipping the ball back and forth, throwing backwards passes once. So it was boring, unimaginative. And, Sean Payton was one of the coaches. He coached the Tom Brady team. I found it to be. It's going to be in the Olympics. I think they're going to have some pros or ex-pros.
Yeah, for 2028, and RG3 was just invited to try out for the Olympic team, I believe.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to tell you, it's one of the most boring things I've ever watched. I tried to watch it. It was absolutely horrendous. I don't know what I know. They're trying different things, and I'm sure the NFL's got some money invested in it, and they're trying to promote it. But boy, oh boy, it is just boring. It's terrible. I don't know how anybody watched. Now you got to think, Tom Brady's playing, Jalen Hurts is playing. There's a whole bunch of current players, some ex-players running around on the field. Jeff, if I'm telling you, the stadium must have had a couple of hundred people in there watching the game.
Well, I'm sure. It's not going to have the same excitement. What kind of do they wear any equipment at all whatsoever?
No, it was shorts and T-shirts, and they had the flag belt around them. So, you pull the flag. So
yeah, I figured. I just didn't know if maybe they had like light padding on in case they fall or whatever.
No, you're right.
You're talking some expensive people there.
Yeah, no. If you're Tom Brady and you get hurt, you can sit up in the booth on crutches. Nobody's going to care. But if you're the Eagles and Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley, and Barkley was playing his ass off, I'll give him credit. He was spinning. He was jumping. He was twisting. All you needed was one pop and one ACL, and you're out for next year. I mean, you're the Eagles. You got at least 2. If I'm not mistaken, there might have been a third Eagle on the team, but there was at least those 2 guys.
And you say about what do you call Tom Brady? I just read about him earlier, and I did not know this. So thank fucking God. But he's 49 years old.
Yes.
So if he gets hurt, he impacts no team.
Correct.
But then again, if he gets hurt, he impacts himself. the same injury that you would have gotten 10, 15 years ago is not going to be the same at 50
Oh no,
years
agreed.
old.
No, agreed. It's not. It's definitely not. But he also doesn't need to recover the way he did back in that.
No, he don't. He doesn't.
Right. That's the thing. And Frankie, I used to like rock and jock jams or the softball games I used to play. That's fun. And it's goofy because you got a bunch of rock stars and musicians and, playing sports. So it's fun. But I'm trying to watch these guys who are professionals and I'm going, all right. Yes.
Well, the difference between the rock and jock thing is that they didn't take it seriously.
Correct.
The difference now is that these guys are actually trying to get on the team to go to the fucking Olympics, which I can't see who the fuck they're going to play, because I don't think any other countries really have football as a part of ours.
I'm curious. I'd be curious to see that too. Football is starting to be very big, and I know flag football on the youth level is big because a lot of parents don't want to put their kids in pads. So especially the girls, but there's a lot of flag football running around in this country. If even on Staten Island, there's advertisements all the time for flag football leagues. Yes, Logan Paul did play. Yes, there was some. There was a lot of people playing, but that's what makes it not competitive too, Frank. It's one thing if you kind of change it up a little bit, maybe a couple extra players on the field, and put football plays out there. But there was a couple guys. I mean, Luke Kuechly hasn't played in years. He's playing out there. Logan Paul. It was to me, it was boring. It's not something that I'll study up on or watch every week. But I just thought it was interesting. Let's move on because I got a lot to get to, and we're running out of time. So let me get to. I do want to get to this. My AI generated rock and roll.
Let's go, man. Come on.
I'm trying to find it on my screen here, Mr. Hefe. Where's my?
Let me ask you something. Do you have any idea who Terrell Davis picked AI to go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Well, he put in who in the NFL shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame, and it came up Terrell Davis.
Wow.
Funny. Yeah. He asked AI, and AI said, "You shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame." Tommy's right. That's what he said. It's fucking scary. I felt bad for the guy. You figure, it's going to pick somebody else, and it picks you.
Did they show him live? Was he found out live?
Yeah. It was very disappointing. Very disappointing.
Really? Wow, what a shame.
They even had a robot show up at the door to take his jacket away.
Wow.
Very sad.
Wow.
Very sad. Very sad. Very sad.
Wow.
Very sad, Jeff. Yeah, I felt bad for the guy, sort of. You don't want to see that.
I would not. The guy got used to having that jacket. He's had it for a while.
Yeah. He kind of uses it when his dog takes his dog out. He puts it on the back seat of the car. The dog lays on it. Hair on the thing.
Yeah.
So
wife drapes it over her shoulders when she takes the dog out at night and it's cold.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So let's see. Hold on. Where is it now? No, I can't find it. Let's type in AI. Okay. What the hell? Man, typical stay form. Morgan, minor. I got all my scales. Sorry, guys. I was just looking at it today. There it is. I got it now. Okay. All right, let's bring this up. Then we got to switch spots. And let's get it up on the screen for you. Sorry, guys. My screen is so jammed with shit today. And let's put it over here. So I'll share it now so you guys can see my work. Share screen. Window. Okay. So Jeff, I said to AI, based on the following criteria: album sales, influential, and length of career, who are the top 7 bands or artists that should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Okay.
Good, bringing the show down. Oh man. Anyway, Frankie's not happy with us right now. All right, so top 7 most deserving 2026 inductees based on my criteria: Phil Collins, over 100 million record sales worldwide, solo. That's solo. Massive impact on
Listen, there is no doubting. We got to, as we go along, just hit a few things. There's no doubting Phil Collins is definitely deserving. The guy had a massive career with Genesis, and then he went off on his own, and I think had even a bigger career. So I don't, I can't find a reason to not put him in the Hall of Fame.
I couldn't agree with you more. Next one this is AI generated. AI felt that Mariah Carey with over 200 million worldwide, 19 number one Billboard hits, redefined pop.
I don't have a problem with her getting in either.
Yeah. Okay. So that was the second one. Next one was Iron Maiden. 100 million albums sold worldwide. One of the most important metal bands ever. Shaped the entire new wave of British heavy metal, and 46 years in the business.
You know how I feel about that one.
Yep. Next one, I didn't agree with, but yeah, I think you had called it In Excess, 50 million albums worldwide, major force in the 80s, 90s, new wave, MTV, pop rock era, and 46 years active. No problem on your end, right?
No, I don't know. Are they still active? I guess so.
I guess so. It's 46 years. It would put it right. Yeah, they would still. I guess they're still active. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
Next up is Luther Vandross. Tens of millions of albums, which probably means he sold 20, 30. One of the most successful vocalists of R&B, a defining voice of modern R&B and soul, and 45 years active, which surprised me. I would have thought he was around longer than that, to be honest.
I don't know when he started, but I know that
he's 81. He said his debut was 1981.
Oh, well, I mean, before that. But I also know that he got clipped a while ago. He died of a heart attack or something, I believe.
Yeah.
So I gonna say he's been dead maybe 20 years or so.
Is he really that long? Wow.
I think so. I don't know. I'll look it up while you're doing that.
Okay. Next one up is Wu-Tang Clan. Now, this was an interesting one. I was shocked by this one. I don't agree with it.
Oh shit! He died 21 years ago.
Wow. Okay. Did you see the doc on the Red Hot Chili? I did not see that. I'm not the biggest Chili Pepper fan. I got to be honest. Those guys kind of, I dislike them. I don't know why. They just like a bunch of knuckleheads. And I'm not a big fan of the music. Are you a Chili Pepper fan, Jeff?
I mean, not really, but I mean, I definitely could appreciate Flea as a bass player.
Absolutely, yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, but I mean, even at that, they tread a fine line of homosexuality that I can do without.
Yeah, I agree.
When the band is making out in a video, there's just like there's no reason for that.
Yeah, I agree. So AI chose Wu-Tang, multi-platinum group, enormous cultural footprint, revolutionized hip-hop production, lyricism, and group identity, changed the sound of 90s rap, and they've been around for 33 years. So
if you're talking Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, no, definitely not. They do have their fan base, and a lot of people do like them and appreciate them. Me, I do not. But then again, I'm not a rap or hip hop fan, so I don't like them.
I disagree with it because I think their footprint is small. They weren't NWA. They weren't some of the big rappers of their time. I think they were kind of that kind of a small niche New York based, Staten Island based group where they had some, and I'm sure they were influential in the area. I don't see that, but it's like the last one is the most surprising one to me, Jeff.
Well, not for nothing, dude. I hate to say it, but that they have a pretty big following. I know it isn't us because we don't listen to that music or follow that music. So
Frankie says the same thing. Okay, Frankie. I guess. I know, like my kids love them. Even my wife's a big fan. Even my wife's a big fan. I am not. I just never thought outside of the New York area they were huge. Maybe I'm wrong. You're just right. They weren't my thing. But and the last one, and this was the most surprising one. The computer picked Sade.
Oh, I could definitely see that.
Yeah, I was a little surprised. But here's what these artists rise to the top because they check all three boxes. So that's why they picked these 7.
I will say this much about Sade. I mean, I'm not a fan of hers. I've known very limited amount of her music.
Me too.
But her music, she seems to have a lot of diehard fans for what she does. Mm-hmm. And I am not real. I only know like one or two of her songs, but it just seems to be a certain soft rock kind of area that she's in. And listen, good for her. If but once again, the biggest problem with your list, the biggest problem with everything is that it's called the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And if you're going to go by the name the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, more than half of those people should not even be getting into that.
Yeah.
If you call it the Music Hall of Fame or the Hall of Fame of Music, or something of that nature, then you could put whoever you want in there and there would never be a problem. The biggest problem is by sticking the name, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, unless it's the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame disco wing, rap wing, country wing, and they have a different wing for all of these different. But to the best of my knowledge, they don't do it that way, right?
But even like I think country music has their own Hall of Fame. I mean, some of those other ones, or maybe you're right, maybe they should just make up a universal, music Hall of Fame and call it a day and just be done with it. Maybe that's the way they should do it.
Well, what is, if they said we're changing the name of Rock and Roll Hall of Fame to Music Hall of Fame, we have no argument. There's nothing we could say.
No, true. Frankie said, Jeff, you usually don't say things right, but you are 100% correct.
Well, I know, say this right, Frank. I know that's one other person that does not belong in the Hall of Fame would be Terrell Owens. Terrell Davis, whatever. And Terrell Owens, fuck him too.
So others like
fact, let's safe to say if your name is Terrell, you don't belong.
According to AI, others like Pink, Lauryn Hill, Oasis, Billy Idol, and Shakira are strong in influence or longevity, but don't match the combined weight of sales plus influence plus 25-year tenure as powerfully as the above 7. So so to me, I agree. Now, Pink, I would have put Pink in there before Sade or maybe even Wu-Tang. Lauryn Hill, no. Oasis, I'm not a huge fan of. Billy Idol had some hits. I don't find it. And Shakira, one big hit. I'm not buying it.
Well, she's while she's not a major league household name that she was on track to be, she had a string of hits. She has more than one hit. It's not stuff that she was another MTV goddess, so to speak. A bit more videos and stuff. And if it wasn't for shaking her ass, I don't know. I don't know if she would get half the attention she gets.
Yep. So again, I just figured I bring that up. I wanted to. I did that right after the show. AI. I use AI quite a bit now. I actually had AI develop me a practice program for guitar. Like you said, like a guitar teacher. I said I want to work on this skill set. How can I do it? And it built me this. Mondays you practice this. I want you to do this, and this. You do this, and this on Tuesday for this. AI is an incredible tool if it's used right. I'm scared to death of it in the long run, but to be honest with you, I've had it help me build parts of the show. I've had it help me at work with things, and like I said, I said I need the entire 5-step program of A minor pentatonic scale, and it built me the entire chart, and I could go to it and open it up, and I gotta tell you,
that's
a great use.
That's interesting. And Frank, yes, dickhead. I know that Geno Smith is the quarterback, and I don't have a problem with that because he's on a 17-game run at best, and 17 at best.
The other thing I used AI for, I say AI. There's a chord at the end of a certain song. I can't make it out. Is that a C chord, a G chord? And it'll go and say, according to tablature, that is a C chord or a G chord or whatever.
Oh, wow.
So it is really useful for the little bit of fun we do with the songs. There's a couple of songs that I just could not figure out what the part was. And I was able to go in and find it that way. So,
we don't over the weekend. Sometime we'll go over Jet City Woman if you still need to go over it.
Yeah, I do. I just want to make sure you're on a page on that and the very end of Rock and Roll All Night. That last note. I think it's an A, but you think it's an E. So we need to kind of nail that one.
Yeah, no problem. today's not good. Tomorrow.
No, it's fine. Any day over the weekend. I'm around the house pretty much all weekend. So whenever you got 5 minutes, let's
this weekend we're going to be afraid to go out of the house because the income tax money is coming.
Oh,
And why do I have to call you? Because you are, Frank. That's why.
Frank, you're a lovable one. That's all.
Listen, I got to be honest. I wasn't on the show for several weeks because of being sick and not feeling good. Matter of fact, as recent as last Thursday, I went home and just let snot roll out of my nose like a waterfall for 2 days. And I think I made mention to you, Tom. I was like, man. Says I almost missed Frank Catalano. Almost. Almost.
He said almost. He said miss him almost as much as the snot that's rolling out of my nose.
Yeah. Yeah. So like I could not wait. And I don't know how many times Tommy did the show without me, but part of me was thinking, I'm like, I bet you this guy's not going to show up tonight. He's not going to be on the show. So I'm actually happy that you showed up because,
Frank is the unofficial third member of the show. Guys, Hard Rocket Sports.
He is. We should dub him Baba Booey.
Yes, he is our Baba Booey. That's correct.
Either that or Beetlejuice.
It's funny. I don't listen to current Howard Stern. I haven't in years. I just refuse to listen to him. He's such a woke communist that I can't listen to him anymore. But I happen to be flipping through the stations, and I once in a while I flip to 101. Which is kind of the alternate station for Howard Stern. And I catch a lot of the old shows, which I still love to listen to. And I hit the wrong one, and I hit 100. And him and Baba Booey were going over their votes for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Okay.
And it was pathetic. Like, he was like, I had barely even heard of this Iron Maiden guys. I don't know anything by Iron Maiden. Why would I vote for Iron Maiden?
Who said this?
Howard Stern. Yeah. And I was like, and I remember there was a time, it had to be 10 or 12 or 15 years. It had to be about 15 years ago. Maiden was coming around, and their publishers must have asked to be on the show. And a bunch of the guys on the show are huge Howard Stern fans, Iron Maiden fans. Richard Christie's obviously a metal drummer, and he's a huge fan. There was a couple of guys. And Howard said, "Oh, why would I want to have Iron Maiden on? What's so interesting about Iron Maiden? Why would I want to have? I'm going to have a Graham Nash or Steven Stills. I'd rather have those guys on." And I'm like, "Dude, those guys are 120 years ago. Like, who cares about Graham Nash or Steven Stills, or if they're even still alive at this point?" But he was basically, "I'm not going to interview Iron Maiden. Why would I interview?" And they did the same thing with Rob Halford at the time. And I was like, "Dude, this is a gay heavy metal singer." Just coming out of the closet for the last few years. Get him on your show. You want to talk to him. He's also a great singer. So I can't listen to Stern ever. He's just a complete jerk off at this point in his life. So I pass on all of that. But I just figured I'd mention that. Where else was I going with that?
It's amazing too. I never ever was a Howard Stern fan because when I first got my first car, all I had was an AM radio thing.
Right.
God forbid. And the only thing that I could ever find on was Howard Stern. And he was on the afternoon drive.
Yes.
And
WC.
Anytime I was in the car, there he was. And I was like, this motherfucker doesn't play one album. Like, he'd be like, we're going to play a song. And then it took him forever. Like, maybe once in a while he'd play one song. And I was like, God, this guy sucks. I just never liked him. I did watch him when he had his show on, though.
Oh, the Channel 9 show or the E show?
The E show.
Yeah.
That wasn't bad.
No. By that point when he was doing the E show, the show had grown up. Those 80s shows, I listened. Like I used to carry around a boombox when I got out of high school and I was working full time. I used to carry a radio with me, and I would listen to like Imus in the morning. Then Soupy Sales would come on. This is before even WFAN was alive. This was still NBC at the time. And then Howard Stern would come on at like 1 o'clock till like 5, and I would listen to him. I didn't even have a car at this point. Like, this is before I even got my license. I was taking the bus, and I'd be on the bus listening to Howard Stern on my way home. And I was all in. I listened for decades, like from the 80s through 2017. I would say I kind of stopped full-time listening in 2009 after Artie Lang nearly tried to kill himself. I would check in, I'd listen, a few days, but 17 on, I stopped listening. He's turned into a total fucking tool. Ever since he stopped when he stopped calling Gary the retard, and he was Gary the Conqueror or Wendy the slow adult, that was the end of it for me. He lost me.
You know, not for nothing. The slow adult, that's great too, man.
Well, yeah, but he used to be Wendy the retard, and he would have her on, and when did you shit your pants? Yes. Wendy, did your father rape you this morning? Yes, she raped me this morning. It was funny. You laughed, and it was Wendy the retard's on the phone. And then I tune on, and it's Wendy the slow adult. You're like, come on, man, really? You can't say Wendy the retard. You gotta say slow adult. Are we kidding ourselves?
Come on, that's fucking great too. Come on, slow adult. Come on, think about that for a second. That's great.
Yeah, it's just Frank.
But I understand your point. Howard Stern was supposed to be beyond the edgy with what he did and stuff like that. So yeah, you want to see him stay true. But Wendy the slow adult, that's fucking classic stuff too.
But yeah, I growing up listening to him, he was always the guy. Don't let them tell you what you can't say. Don't let them tell you what you can't do. Go do it all. Say what you want. Let the chips fall they may. And you bought into it. I listened to everything, every single special show. I mean, you went out of your way to tape his shows. And then when he got on Sirius, I bought Sirius for it, and it was great up until Artie left, and then it kind of hit the wall. And
what happened with him, Artie Lang?
Well, the last thing was he went home one night and he started stabbing himself in the stomach.
Wow!
And he put himself in the hospital, and after that, it was a slow, just downhill. He got let go from the show and all of that. I know he's tried to bounce back. He had some stuff. He did some stuff after that. He had a couple of cable shows, and
his nose is completely fucked.
Yeah, I think supposedly he owed somebody money, and they punched him in the face and shattered his face. So
wow,
yes, absolutely, Frankie. When Jackie left, I thought the
Jackie's
show was
not
done.
there no more.
Oh, Jackie left in 2001. That's when Artie came in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Jackie quit. Well, he tried to negotiate a new contract, didn't work out. So after 2 months of negotiating, he wasn't on the show. He disappeared. He was ready to come back, and they said, forget it. And they wound up, took about a year, and Artie Lang got the job. And the show changed completely. It was great with Artie. He was fantastic. I mean, it was so much fun watching that show with him. And then when Artie tried to kill himself, and they basically did away with his spot, the show just completely sucked. So
wow. I did not know that he tried. I know he was like a hardcore junkie for a while.
No, Frankie, go look it up. I'm pretty sure it was he came out later on and said he got punched in the face. He owed somebody money, and the guy completely crushed his face.
Punched him in the face for what? A fucking like 25-pound weight? Because
no, I don't think so. I'm almost positive. Maybe Frankie's right. I'll never say. I read the same thing about doing coke with glass in it, but what I heard was he got punched in the face. I'm almost sure I saw an interview. I'll find it for you. But it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, he was huge comedian at that time, and I haven't seen. I saw his stand up a couple times. He was funny. He was absolutely hysterical in concert. I saw him a few times. I saw him at the Starland, and then another small, maybe Stress Factory. He was fucking awesome. I saw Dice not too long ago. He was horrendous.
He was never funny anyway, Dice Clay. I'm sorry.
I saw him at the Garden in the height of his career, and he sucked. It was the worst.
The best things was the tape he had. It was a couple jokes here and there. Other than that, he sucked.
Him at Dangerfields was great. You remember those the specials from Dangerfields? He did a bunch of those HBO when Dangerfield used to have those like Saturday night specials. He always had the young comedians, and Dice was on there. And Dice was absolutely fantastic.
I never liked him. I'm sorry. I just never liked him. I thought that Colin was better. And if you're going to go after a comedian, I mean, Eddie Murphy.
Oh, yeah.
Was there anybody that was going to top him with the shit he did, man?
No, Eddie Murphy in his prime was the best I ever watched to listen to. I mean, there's been some good ones. Don't get me wrong. Yes, I saw Colin 3 or 4 times live. At the end, the last couple times I must have saw him 4 times. The last time or two, he was just a little too angry and political.
Colin.
Yeah, it was still good, but it wasn't the same. I saw him in Atlantic City. I saw him in Manhattan a few times. He was great.
A friend of mine talked me out of going to see him. We were going to go get him. He was playing on Staten Island,
Oh, really?
at CSI, and we were going to go there, and a friend of ours talked us out of it. He was like, "Oh, he's too political," but he actually really isn't very political. He hates everything.
No, he's very political, but he's not one-sided political. He don't care.
Well, I should have said he doesn't take a
he's
side.
he's not partisan. He rips everybody, which is fine. But he was super political. But yeah, at the end, it was a little too much. Like it was almost he was just like the angry man on the lawn. That's
what he did for years, dude. That's what
got
paid.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some really good ones. Robert Schimmel was a great one. God rest his soul. He was great. Schimmel was one of the best I've ever seen live. There's a whole bunch of that are really, really funny comedians. But Dice at the Garden, lucky I got free tickets to that. Dominic Mansueto had an aunt who had some sort of connection either to the Garden or Ticketmaster or something, and they got us 4 seats. And it was funny. We were told they were backstage seats, so we thought we were going to be backstage. It was behind the stage.
So wow!
Up behind the stage, there was a curtain and a cat and a thing. So we were literally behind the stage.
Oh, so you only listened to him, you didn't watch him?
Yeah, we got to see him on the screen basically, and then like when he would come to the edges, you'd see him. But he ended it by singing Elvis songs, right, Frankie? My memory's good. He sang Jailhouse Rock and something else. He actually is a decent drummer. I've seen his drum. His kids are very good too. His son's a excellent drummer. Has been in a couple bands, but that's how we ended the show, and it was terrible. Yeah, it was definitely. I definitely remember him doing an Elvis song. I thought it was going to be a goof, Jeff. Like you see him come out, and he's got the leather jacket, and he comes back for the encore. And you think he's going to goof on Elvis by singing a song, and then he sings the song, and you're like, "That's not a goof. He's trying to sing." I didn't come here to see him sing. I came here to see him tell some jokes. Tell me some jokes. But my wife and I during COVID saw him at the Stretch Factory, and it was brutal. Oh my God, it was terrible, terrible. And then we went about a year or two ago. He was at Parks Casino, I think it was. Yeah, Parks, in their ballroom, and we almost left. We were trying to get out and leave. It was so bad.
Really?
So I would never go again. I would never see him again. Yeah, it was bad. What a shame.
That sucks.
What a shame. So, but let's see, Jeff. I think I've gone through most of everything. NFL starting on a Wednesday night this year. I thought that was, like at what point is it enough? Like what point do you stop trying to take every night of the week and play football?
That's the sad part of it, dude.
Yeah, it's oversaturation.
They don't seem to give a fuck.
Nope, they don't. Other than that, that's it, guys. I don't have much else. I think we ran.
Listen, like that, 2 of our buddies are going to watch it no matter when it's on. So
that's true. Hey, I got one for you. There was a big article. There was a famous person. I didn't write down who it was, unfortunately, and they were talking about how they got grief for not tipping at a self-service counter. So let's say there's a couple of employees in the place, but you go in and you make your own coffee. Or like, let's say you go to 7-Eleven or a Wawa. Yeah, Wawa's a big one. And you go and you make your own coffee. You grab a roll off the thing, and you're going to pay, and they look at you crazy. Oh yeah, I got to bring up Kiss. We'll do that right now. Do you feel like when you go to a counter and somebody rings you up on food you served yourself or coffee, do you feel that you're required to give a tip?
I don't tip them.
Yeah, neither do I.
If you want to bring me my food, I'll tip you. But like you turning around, cutting a bagel and buttering it and then wrapping it up and turning around and handing it to me does not constitute getting a tip.
I agree with you. To me, unless you're serving me, bringing me my water, bringing me a drink, bringing me my food, cleaning the table, I'm not sure why I'm giving it. Even if I go to a deli and I order an egg sandwich or something to go, why am I tipping you? I don't understand. You didn't serve me. You
totally agree.
Yeah,
totally fucking agree.
Yeah. Now, if the person's extra pleasant, if I'm, if I don't know, if I'm a regular, I might drop a couple bucks here and there. I consider myself a generous tipper. When I go out to dinner or I go places, I feel like people work their ass off. You tip them, you do the right thing. But if you're not really doing anything for me, and I'm especially at a self-service, why am I tipping you?
I totally agree.
Okay, so I'm not off on that.
No, not at all.
Frankie, two things on the Knicks on Kiss before we call it a night. One, two biopics are in the works. There's a Kiss movie coming out and a full-length documentary. Kiss is one of those bands that deserves one of those movies, like the Queen movie. I also think that Sabbath should have one. And I also came up, I think that Van Halen, there should be a Van Halen movie. I think those guys are interesting enough. There's enough different members. There was enough stuff going on. I would love to see a Van Halen one. But the Kiss one, Jeff, to me, very few bands with the height that they had in the 70s, the falling out, the different members. I think a Kiss movie, a biopic like the Motley Crue one or Queen, I think is a good thing to watch. I don't know if you'd watch it if it came on TV. I don't know if you'd sit through it. But for me as a Kiss fan, I think it'd be great.
Well, you know what, Tom? I don't think that Motley Crue was worthy of one.
Movie. No, that movie was terrible.
And looked like a bunch of fucking kids made it with a fucking iPhone.
It was terrible.
It was bad.
Oh, it was
Kiss
worse than a Motley Crue concert.
Yeah, Kiss might generate a little bit more interest, but I don't know. I don't know if it could be on the same level as the one for Queen.
Yeah, no, I don't know either, but you know what? If I think honestly, here's the reason why I think it would actually be bigger than Queen or better is that Kiss had a bigger story than Queen did. Queen was kind of I don't want to say a second tier band, but Queen didn't have the notoriety. So when you look back at those Kiss years from 73 to 79, 80, I mean, there was very few bands bigger than Kiss at that point from a public relations standpoint. They just stood out. So I would love to see a Kiss biopic. It would have to end in the early 80s. Like, I don't really care at the end, the last 30 years. Like, I don't want to see the 90s and past Kiss. It doesn't matter to me. To me, they're inconsequential. But a biopic that shows them, kind of getting Kiss together and those first few years, I think would be great.
Well, let's see. Wow, I got bad news for you, Tom. You were wrong again.
About what?
About Kiss and Queen.
Why is that?
Queen has sold over 300 million records worldwide, while Kiss has sold over 100 million albums worldwide. Queen 250 to 300 million plus records worldwide. Kiss over 100 million records.
Yeah,
worldwide.
No, it's not the question of that. But I still don't think that Queen had the notoriety, especially in that time frame. But
Kiss holds records for American certification, 30 gold albums in the U.S. Queen's worldwide total is much higher. It doesn't give a number, but
yeah.
Well, listen, that's just that.
But again, I thought the Queen one was done well. I thought it was a good movie. You're right, Frankie. The book was great. I enjoyed the book. The Motley Crue book was fun. I read it, but the movie was horrendous. And last thing, in 2027, the Kiss show with the avatars will be out. They're promising a huge, non-cartoonish, almost lifelike Kiss show, to the point where they were talking about building a theater or an arena or whatever built around this show that you can't just have, even in the Sphere in Vegas, it doesn't work. I'm intrigued by it. We've talked about this on the air about holograms and this and that. And a buddy of mine and I were driving in the other day to work, and he asked me, with this technology, does it excite you as a music fan? And I said, not really, but if I could go back and because they're talking about this technology being able to recreate Elvis's concert at the Garden, or Aloha from Hawaii, or Abbey Road for the Beatles. If you told me that I could go to a show and see a almost lifelike rendition of the Beatles, actual guys, I would think about it. I would absolutely say it would make. I would do it. Now, if it's the cartoonish version, I have no interest in that. But if I go up there and it's almost a lifelike performance, Jeff, I would say great. Now, if I told you that I could take you to a concert, the opening act is Pantera, followed by the full band of Rush, or somebody else like that, would that, or Queen with Freddie Mercury in an almost lifelike setting, would that interest you in any way?
Not right now, not at this time. Maybe in the future, who knows?
Yeah, I think it's interesting to me. If you told me I can go back and sit in the concert for Elvis in Hawaii, or sit on the rooftop of Abbey Road and watch the Beatles perform, I would have to think about it. That, to me, that's interesting. Like, going to see a random Kiss show, maybe not. I don't know. It'd be maybe for a nostalgia thing, but I think it would actually be pretty cool. So that technology exists, and they're actually building where they can go back and recreate concerts that have happened to be. Like, you can go back and recreate Live Aid, and you can go back and recreate, U.S. Metal Festival from 1980, whatever, 83. So it's an interesting theory, Jeff. That's all. I just figured I'd mention it.
Yeah, we will see how that pans out.
So pay attention for pay attention for all of that, and pay attention next Thursday night when Jeff and I get together and we do this all over again. I got to end the show right here so that way I can get my AI generated clips and start sharing them out there. I really do appreciate Frankie and everybody. Jeff, would interest you if you. Now that's interesting. If you could go back and watch an AI generated Jets Super Bowl III, sit in the stands and feel like you were there, would that interest you?
No, because the mystique of not being there is more important to me. I would rather leave the real world as it is. It's almost like being in the fake world of Terrell Davis in an artificial bronze jacket.
Frankie, I'm sorry. That wasn't me, Frankie. That one's not me. But we thank you. We hope Frankie will come back next week after the abuse he took tonight. In the meantime, I do appreciate all you guys paying attention to us, and I hope you come back and we want to do this all again next week. So I want to thank everybody, Frankie, and everybody, Alan, and everybody, Louie, everybody who jumped in tonight and watched, and people who hit me up privately. Thank you so much. And we'll be back next Thursday to do it all over again. So for Jeff, myself, and everybody here at Hard Rock and Sports, I say have a great rest of your night, great rest of your week, a great weekend, a great next week, a happy Palm Sunday. Does anybody celebrate Palm Sunday anymore? That's a quite. I don't think anybody even celebrates Palm Sunday. Good night, Frankie.
See you later, Frank. And me personally, I got to work Palm Sunday, and Palm Sunday. I used to hate Palm Sunday and you better watch the time because we're getting close.
Yeah, we're going. Yeah, just curious.
Used to have to sit in church for fucking 4 hours.
Yeah. Well, again, if you celebrate it, happy Palm Sunday, and we'll see you back here next Thursday night when we do this all over again. So for Jeff and myself and everybody here at Hard Rock and Sports, enjoy the rest of your night. We'll see you next Thursday. Hefe, I'll talk to you off the air.
Later, man.
Later, man.
Bye.